then and only then we would have a workforce that is able to deal with that kind of sector and develop it. We already have multinationals. These are hyper competitive, globalized firms. We're used to them, like the telecommunications, like the oil companies, and we can use them only and only when they have to share that kind of knowledge with us.
Yes, but a lot of Egyptians are actually lacking the culture of planning, which is really important for anyone trying to do anything actually in the world.
Right.
A lot of Egyptians don't have that,
Right.
and we start piling up work till the last minute. How can that affect the economy negatively?
Well, poor planning, lack of planning, would lead us to nowhere. But the solution comes from the management consulting world. I'm not talking about outsourcing the whole thing totally, but if we outsource the knowledge and the know-how to develop that kind of skill in the Egyptian culture, actually, if we establish a system that doesn't have to depend heavily on the human skills, the system itself, if the system is smart and we train the right um, workforce, then we'll get somewhere or someplace better than we are now. But if we keep on judging, criticizing the current situation, we're not getting anywhere. We're a lot of analysts, political and economic analysts, still insist that we are in an economic crisis. I would say it's a recession. I would say a recession that we can always leave behind only when we start working as people, individuals, and as decision makers.
But in your opinion, we have a really poor system, not a smart system, right?
The system is ineffective.
Ineffective. How
Ineffective.
can we change that?
Like I said, by implementing the right tools. Right tools come always from the management department.
Yes. It usually comes from above to downwards, right?
That's another predicament and paradox we're caught in, by the way.
Yes.
The top level decision makers.
Yes.
Modern management depend on empowered teams. That comes from a line of management called Six Sigma. They build empowered teams, people who collaborate with each other without having to follow the hierarchy, the old notorious hierarchy that leads us, as I said before, to nowhere and poor performance. What elevates or increases the performance is the collaboration in a very well empowered team. This is what we need.
But after the 25th of January revolution, a number of young men and women are trying to have their own businesses now. How can they do that in these circumstances, and who they can go to for advice and for financial help, of course?
Right. Before they go and risk their hard-gained money or time or effort, they have to use the government legislation to start a business. And this is what we are trying to touch base with, the government decision makers. They have to start to use more dynamic legislation, start to be more effective, and start to implement new management systems, start to train their staff how to be more flexible in order to encourage entrepreneurial activities within the young people. We need to change. We need to develop our mindset first before going out there and risking valuable resources.
But how can the schools and universities and any other educational institution be adopting such a system or adopting such a mentality for the people, for the young men and women, of course, the students and the students at the faculties and the students at the schools, to be adopting such a mentality in the future?
Well, it all starts with that. Actually, it starts with the education system. And when I'm talking about education, I don't mean universities first. I'm talking about schools. Schools must learn how to develop that kind of skills within students. They have to teach them how money is earned, how their parents make the money first, and how to save it and how to spend it wisely. You see, this money handling or management culture starts at this very young age. That's the role of the schools. And at colleges, If you notice, most entrepreneurial activities are undertaken by non-business majors and school dropouts. If we look at, for example, Apple Macintosh, the late Steve Jobs is a school dropout. Same thing with Zuckerberg of Facebook. He's a school dropout. So it's not the faculty or the college
Or the amount of
education.
education itself.
Exactly. It's the entrepreneurial skills that they will develop. So the role of the universities and colleges, collegiates, and higher institutes is to cultivate that entrepreneurial culture within their curriculum. We notice that even North America, Europe, Japan, here in the Middle East, most schools have this little office called job search help.
Yes.
Well, they need to replace that with entrepreneurial skill and interpersonal skill development. Rather than teaching them how to look for a job, is to teach them how to create their own sort of employment. And that creates jobs and generates employment to other individuals afterwards. After all, we can all be entrepreneurs
Yes.
or business owners. So it all starts with that. Elementary schools, middle schools, and then post-secondary education.
But you mentioned that everyone actually here can be doing this job and training the youth and the young men and women of Egypt now. What about the business organizations and the banks, especially that we're going through a very hard time for the economy for Egypt? They can be going on to universities and students and maybe clubs, sporting clubs, to train them for the future. Can they do that, or
Mhm.
they don't have enough time or enough money to do that?
If we're talking about business developed organizations affiliated with the government,
Yes.
then they have a role. If we're talking about private corporations, they do have another role. Both of them need to come down to the communities. Most of them work or have this department called social responsibility. I would suggest one of their social responsibilities is to start engage within the society. That's one. Two is to lower their risk level, to be more risk tolerant, to know how to identify um, skills within their own workers first, and teach workers or employees how to voice their new ideas, their innovations, and not fearing to lose their job if they expose it or offer it to the top management level. So um, many organizations who elicit a lot of money from the society
Yes.
as a revenue, they should start engage with the society and offer these small to medium project ideas and teach the society or the interested individuals within the society
Yes.
how to write a proper business plan, how to help them manage their money, and how to set realistic goals so that the entrepreneur or the small or young business owner um, doesn't feel discouraged within a short period of time.
But right now we need as well to boost the economic growth of Egypt and to create a growth atmosphere here in Egypt. What does the decision maker, all the decision makers as a whole, have to do here in Egypt to be achieving such a feat or such an atmosphere?
We can talk from here to the day of judgment about development within the government service or the decision maker within the government. But one single tool is called change management. And when we talk change management within the government, I'm not talking about replacing the old regime or the old management system. It's how to develop, how to infuse these active and dynamic tools. Multidisciplinary, collaborative thinking will get us definitely in a better place. But without starting, without implementing change, we ain't gonna go anywhere. We need to start the change. The change comes with management, proper management, proper and effective administration system, and before all, collaboration.
But Doctor, my final question would be, rebuilding our institutions is very crucial now after long years of individual efforts. How can we do that now? The rebuilding, or as you've mentioned, the culture of change.
Exactly.
But how can we change people who already are resisting change, especially with the older ages?
Well, ABC change management is
Yes.
resistance from the old system, by the way.
Yes.
Actually, we started this by showing um, the departments we're going to implement them and change them, is showing them where are we going to get if we implement
The
that kind of
benefits of that.
change management. Exactly. And show them realistic and day-to-day results. That would encourage them. Nobody is interested in staying behind, actually. Most That's a human trait. That's a human innate. Most people like to develop. Most people like to step forward, advance their life. So when they see the results of change, most definitely there would be collaboration. And this is what I've just mentioned, collaboration and reciprocal respect between the old expertise and the new generations.
Dr. Muhammad Gaber Yusuf, the management consultant, thank you very much for being with us today on My Cruise.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Now
Thank
it's
you.
time to go out for a quick break, so stay tuned.
The Opera House, headed by Dr. Ines Abdeldaim, in cooperation with Casa Bata's Flamenco Foundation, held a new concert for the famous flamenco dance titled I Reject Ceasing to Smile. It aims at enjoying life. The event included a number of songs and dances along with the music of flamenco like The Toy of My Sister, First Love, Madness, and My Friend. The show was designed and directed by Jose Barrios. It was also staged by Ana Gonzalez.
All the troupe with Jose Barrios, the principal dancer and choreographer, and Casapatas Foundation and the rest of the artists are very happy to be here in Egypt in the Opera House performing with this show who tries to show what is flamenco art.
Recently, flamenco is being taught in many countries. It is originated in Spain. It is a blend of different cultures. The songs are a mix of sadness and gloominess.
Flamenco is something very important for Spanish because it's not inside the academies, it's not inside the schools, but it's in the street, on the road. The people enjoy the the flamenco and they live it. And the importance of the flamenco begins by voice and the canto. Canto that means voice, and after that it's added with guitar and percussion, and for sure the dancing is completed the situation of the flamenco in general.
More than an art, flamenco is a feeling. It's a form of live the life, and it's a feeling that you have in your soul, and that you can make flamenco not over the stage only. You live as a flamenco artist all the time.
Flamenco dance features two singers and two dancers. The event attracted a huge audience who really enjoyed it and interacted with it.